But you're saying about the feedback that you received from a gentleman from your ends, and they didn't know necessarily what they were going to be expecting going into it, but after it, they were quite emotional, as I actually said as well myself, without spoiling. I'm just trying so hard because I really want to explain why it was so good and well done, but I cannot give it away. But yeah, no, carry on, Michael, carry on.
Yeah, I was saying it was like in my bar. I think we had maybe 500 people in a room, and
Hmm.
again, a lot of them were expecting a Rise of the Foot Soldier, and
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
against that. They're fantastic films,
Such
and
easy films to watch. I love them.
yeah, and then at the end we did have, I'd say 78% of the audience were in tears,
Yeah.
and I loved that. So many people, and a lot of people that who said there was one of the ladies that was there. Well, I'm not a big fan of the genre, but I've come,
Yeah.
because I'm connected to X, Y, and Z and that. And they went, oh, it was, not what I was expecting at all. And it is lovely to hear that. Loads of people said I didn't see it coming. It wasn't what
Nope.
I was expecting.
Nope.
It was so different from the other stuff that's out there.
Mm.
Um, and it is lovely. I mean, I've had where I come from theatre. I've always loved it because you get that instant feedback. If you have a joke and they laugh, you're like, brilliant. It's like a drug. It really is. And then when you can bring them to tears, and you've got people in the audience, and what you've created, what you're doing, has brought them to tears. It's amazing. And so with film, that feedback is delayed. But what's lovely is you can sit there and watch it and join in with them. You're there. I had my cousin who Dan done a great video of the Marbella one, and you can see there's these two attractive girls that are being interviewed, and you just see my cousin walking behind them with tears, like sobbing.
No way.
It's brilliant.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I need to watch this.
I'll send you the post of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It fits. But to hear that feedback, to see the audience reviews, and that's
Mhm.
why we do it. Obviously, when you're creating something, you're putting it out in the world because you want other people to enjoy it. That's the whole point.
Even
So
the
to hear,
soundtrack was really good. Like, what was the song at the end, by the way? I didn't clock onto that in the credits.
well, the one that sort of goes all the way through is "We'll Meet
Yeah,
Again." So it's that whole nostalgic feel,
yeah, yeah.
and it's also very British spirit, and it will meet
Mhm.
again. The attitude of the war, and because that's what a lot of that generation were. They were war children.
Mhm.
My granddad John, they all grew up in the war, so they had nothing, and
Mm.
I think that generation had to fight for everything, you know. So so I think it was a great choice of song.
Mm.
I don't know if it was Cos or Terry that chose it, but whoever chose it
It
was
was really
brilliant.
good. It really sort of elevated the scenes and
Yeah,
um,
yeah. And so to hear that feedback from people, and to hear so many people have enjoyed it,
mhm.
it is brilliant. And that's, I mean, because I've got, funny enough, I've got my next film. We've
Mm.
got a script on the 19th of December.
Oh, nice.
So it's not the premiere is going to be next year. This is only for cast and crew and a few
Yeah.
other investors, people like that. But now it's not, because this one's an out and out comedy.
Hmm.
So it'll be the same thing where I sit there and waiting for people to laugh, and it is nerve wracking. But it is brilliant, and it's so when people do buy into it and you get that energy, you get that buzz. It's fantastic.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm delighted, and I can't believe, 'cause it's been a long road, it's been a hard road.
Mm.
Me and my wife have made an awful lot of sacrifices over the years, which you still now. I'm in a 1 bedroom flat or 2 bedroom flat in Sidcup, so I'm not like exactly living the high life, but it is all, it justifies it in the sense
Yeah.
of I feel like there's been that progress, and I feel like the audiences are buying into it,
Yeah.
and are enjoying it, which does make it worthwhile. It really does.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you were like one of the best performers in the film, and I think I said that to you as well. But one last question about the last heist, and I think also the payoff was worth it, by the way. And I respect you for your sacrifice, and the reward will come as well. Like just that film, so good. But your dad in the film, I always forget his name, but he's in like Love, Honor, and Obey, and just
Yes.
England.
So it's a funny. So he wasn't originally going to play the part. There was
Oh,
someone else.
really?
Yeah. I won't say who. Very good actor,
Yeah.
unbelievable actor. Too young. So I think he's only about 4 years older than me. And when I was discussing, they went, "Yeah, but he looks old." I'm like, "Yeah, so do I." So, and then about 4 days before,
Yeah.
I'm looking on IMDb,
Yeah.
and all Perry Benson's come up. So I've gone to my wife. I went, "Babe, who?" I went, "I've changed my dad." She went, "Oh, who's playing it?" She went, "Oh no." I went, "No, come on, come on." I went, "I'm excited." So she went, "I don't know." I went, "Come on, come on." She went, "Ray Winston." I went, "No, come leave it out. Like, he's Hollywood. You ain't gonna get him." I went, "Who else?" She went, "Not Fat Alan." I went, "Fat Alan's playing my dad." Um,
He's
it's
trying
a
to make him
funny.
eat dog food or something.
Oh, they throw him out a window, feed him LSD, feed him and then the joke is, what they call him, Lucky. So what happened was, that was my granddad's favourite film, was Love
Yeah.
on a. I remember watching it on a pirate VHS years
Yeah.
ago.
I had on DVD. I remember that.
Uh,
Yeah.
he loved it. I mean, we bought it proper when it came out. I better say, in
Mm.
case Ray tells me off for nicking it. But I remember we had this dodgy copy, and I remember watching it. You see something, that's being a gangster, that's being a villain.
Mm.
He went, all them films, he went, a nonsense. He went, that's proper.
Yeah.
And it was his era. And then when I met my wife, I met her in a little dive pub in Bexley, the Miller's Arms, sticky floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The locals in the corner, just like reading the newspaper.
yeah, all the, playing like I Think We're Alone Now and all stuff like that. Every time they play like This Is How We Do It, everyone goes mental. And anyway, so in this pub, and I went to her, "What do you do?" She went, "Oh, I'm a footballer." Okay. She went, "What do you do?" Well, funny enough, I'm an actor. So that was it. We spoke all night. Nothing really happened. I met her again, and she went to me. She went, "Yeah, you do acting, didn't you?" I went, "Yeah." She went, "You got to watch this film." And she gave me Love on a Bay.
Yeah.
No, I've got it. It's my favourite film. And then obviously we started dating and all that. And it was always our film. I remember one night we was in this pub and it was boring. And she went, "Should we
Mm.
just go and get a vodka, go home and watch Love on a Bay?" It's something that we've always done. So then to work with Perry was unreal.
Yeah.
And and we got on really well. It turns out we've got family in common. He's related to my granddad.
Oh wow.
Who the film's about. Yeah, so we got on really well. He took me under his wing, really looked after me. And then at the end he went, "Look, I really like you. Have you got anything else?" I went, "Yeah, I've got this one script, Bermondsey Tales."
Mm-hmm.
Went, "Do you mind if I give it to me, mate?" "Yeah, all right." And in my head I'm thinking, please be Ray Burdis. Please be Ray Burdis. So he wrote back to me, "Look, I've given it to Ray Burdis. I don't know if you know him." I went, "Yeah, I've heard of him." "Yeah, I think so. He did that film, didn't he? Love, Honour and something. I might have watched it." And he went, "But look," he went, "Ray's busy man. He probably won't read it. And there's no guarantees he likes it because he don't really like much." 3 days later, I've got a message from Ray. "Love the script. Can we meet up?" So I'm there.
Wow.
I'm meeting the director and writer of Love, Honour and a Bay.
Yeah.
Go up, meet him. Miserable bloke. Really miserable. And I remember he said to me, "Listen, Sonny, I'll be honest with you, half of it is very, very good. The other half of it is absolute shit." "Okay, mate, what do you really think?" But he
Yeah.
said, "Look, I'm happy to direct it
Yeah.
if you'll let me co-write it with you." "Yeah, all right, okay." And and now then me and Ray got to know, we got to working together, worked really well. And then one day he said to me, "Do you know fugitive films that made Love on the Bay, made The Craze,
Mm-hmm.
with the Kemp brothers, made BBC Operation Good Guys?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "It's my company. He went, I'm thinking of relaunching it, but I want to relaunch it with you. We'll be partners."
Wow.
"Yeah, okay." Went, "Yeah, if you don't mind." And then so now we've got this film out called Mr. Kiss, which is the one we've got a screening. Like I said, we've got a screening
Oh, was
coming
it
up.
next week? Yeah.
Yeah, private one, and I reckon it'll be out in March, April time.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Ray have co-written it. Ray's directed it. It's done through Fugitive Films, which is the company that did The Craze, Love on a Bay, and all the. But it's my company. It's just a bizarre situation. We've got a guy, Steve Beckett, on board, Rohit Nathaniel, who was also in The Last Heist. We've got this great team. we've made this film together, and it's still mental that one of my best, possibly my best friend, is Ray Birdie, who is my absolute hero.
We went from saying like half the film's the script shit, but half of it's really good.
Yeah. It goes better as well. So I play in this film. The cast is phenomenal. We've got John Hannah, Martin Kemp, Sadie Frost, Michelle Collins, Vaz Wood. Honestly, the cast list just goes on and on. Perry is in it again.
Nice.
Dan O'Reilly, like Dapper's in it. Charlie Clapham. Anyway, so we've got all this cast, and I play this guy called Nut Nut, who is based on a fella who I know. And again, I went to get permission from him and went, look, do you mind if I write this?
Mate, I can ask why the name? Like...
So, well, it comes out in the film as why.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll wait till the film.
His real name isn't. The character's name is Ray.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember I sent him the script and went, look, he went, who's directing it? I went, Ray Birdie. He went, yeah, he's good. I like him. He went, who's playing me? I went, I am. He went, yeah, all right then. He went, yeah. He went, no, that's fine. So I've got permission to play. But anyway, I'm playing this out and out wrong. He's, really violent guy, nut and all this.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the scenes, and Ray comes up to me afterwards. He goes, "Hey, son, I've got a little note for you." And yeah, okay. He went, everything you just did, don't do again. Cheers, mate. That's lovely. He went, but I love you. He went, and you was very good the other day. He went, but that was really bad. So don't do that again.
I love his bluntness, to be honest. I mean, I can imagine some people not really liking that, but I think
to be fair, he done it to me because he knows me.
Yeah. No, I get you.
And he said afterwards, look, when I'm never going to steer you wrong. He went, you're my business partner, you're my writing partner. He went, I love you. I always say he's like a granddad figure to me. He's not a dad figure because he's really old. He's like a grandfather figure, great grandfather figure to me. But no, he's took me under his wing.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to think that,
literally watching it on Pirate and then, watching it with your missus for you to actually be working with the guy that made your favourite film and to be partners with him and to have a really, really good relationship with him.
Yeah, he is, like I said.
It's just come full circle, isn't it?
While we've been doing this, I've had 3 messages come up from him, and from the future team. It's amazing. And they always say, like, don't meet your heroes. But he's brilliant. He's talented. He's the way he is, and also the company that we've got set up. Like I said, the 4 of us. It's a real family feel. And it's like I said, this was our first film, and don't get me wrong, we've made a few mistakes. Of course, we have. Like the business side of things, because we're learning, and it ain't, it isn't what I do, and
it's going to happen overnight.
Yeah, exactly. But the film, I'm genuinely got high hopes for this film. I think my wife said she's a fan of The Last Heist, but she said this is a different level. I can't believe that you're involved in it. But to be honest,
is there a trailer out for this yet?
No, not yet. Like I said, it'll be out in March. So
okay. Oh, the actual film will be out March, but in terms of like, the advertising and sort of where.
No, it's very early days because we've only, like I said, as I talk, it's being finished. It's in post, so it isn't
in post production.
Yeah. So like I said, next week it's just going to be finished. That's going to be the very first script. It literally gets finished on the Sunday, and then we're bringing cast and crew to see it on the Monday. But it's just amazing. And then we've got other films on the slate as well. We're doing early next year. We're doing a film called House with Tall Paul about turn mills and house music. So people like Carl Cox, Fatboy Slim, Faithless. It's like just incredible.
Legends.
It's amazing. Then we've got The Greater Game, which is the story about footballers in World War One. The Royal British Legion are on board, the PFA, the Premier League, all these bodies. And we've got another one called Open the Gates, which is about the first black guy to ever play in the FA Cup final.
What, a film?
Yeah. Well, no, what we're doing is going to be a documentary with a play.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going to film the stage play, a bit like Hamilton, so it's going to be professionally filmed.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's a play, and then I think it will become a film, but that'll be further down the line. But it's a great story. He's a Leeds player as well. And we've got Leeds United fully endorsing it. And it's an amazing. I mean, it's
you were saying at the beginning, like you got involved.
Sadly, he struggled with alcoholism, and he died only 54, on his own in a council flat. And it's amazing how, again, you wouldn't think that would happen to footballers nowadays, but
No.
not that long ago. And he did open the gates for every. That's what his place called, Open the Gates.
Yeah.
He really did. The abuse that he got and the struggles that he had, I think that we've learned from that, and we've still got a long way to go.
Big time.
But
Yeah.
nowadays, with mental health, with racism,
Mm-hmm.
even with the number, he was literally, the black guy. That was it. Him. We had another guy, Jerry Francis, but he was on the fringes. Where now, it's so multiracial, multinational, multicultural.
Yeah.
And life is as well, because football's a microcosm of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that project as well, which really means a lot to me, very close to my heart. So to have all these exciting films on the slate that we're working on, Worth a Flutter, which was my play that I would say is arguably my strongest ever script. Certainly my most successful play. We're looking at releasing that. So to have all of these films, to be working on them that are close to my heart with people like Ray, like I said, Rose, Steve, the cast that we're working with. I mean, obviously the cast for Last Heist were phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Perry, again, he's the link between the two. Obviously, Perry's in both. And Perry's playing a guy called Marmite in this one. Because in Mr. Kiss,
That's the best nicknames, isn't he?
Well, why is he Marmite? Because you love him or you hate him. What about you lot? We all hate him. But when I wrote it, if you'd have said to me years ago, who would you have for Marmite? I'd go, Perry Benson, got to be. Then Martin Kemp in it plays my brother. What a wonderful, wonderful bloke. Like, unbelievably nice bloke.
Playing one of the original Crays, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember he just, on my first big day, I was a little bit scared, just because, it's my film. I've co-wrote it with Ray. Ray, who's the director I don't want to let down.
Mm-hmm.
It was over £1 million budget. And I'm like, a lot of people have put a lot into this. And now the camera's pointing at me and I'm not good enough. You have that wobble. And I mean, Mark looked to say, Sonny, what you find? He went, look, we all do it. He went, we all worry. But look, he went, I went, but I can't fuck up. Look, he went, if I think your take's going bad, he went, I'll fuck up. He went, so that they have to cut and they have to go again. And he went, ain't on you, it's on me. And what a lovely bloke, and Michelle Collins, who's a friend of the family. Michelle's father, Sid, he was very good mates with my granddad. Yeah. So you've got them families. So to be working with these people, John Hannah, one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. So to be working with these people, it is surreal. You Terry Stone, one day you're sitting there watching him in a film, next minute he's ringing you up and then you're on set with him. It is unreal. And me and my wife every so often sort of...
Like the fact that you'd be watching the screen and then next thing you know, like, you two may or may not be making people in the cinema cry. So.
Yeah. Just the people that we're with, like I said, she said to me, we was sorting out Monday.
Yeah.
And she went, what are you doing Monday? I went, why? She went, I'm going to watch a Ray Burdiss film that you're in. It's unreal. And I feel blessed. And I do hope that a lot of people have messaged me, actors, writers, and I've said to them, I hope it is sort of some, not inspiration, because that's a bit wanky. I hope I'm inspiration, but I hope it gives people hope.
Yeah, man.
Because if you do it, anyone can do it. I'm not a writer. Never went to school. I didn't come from that background. Didn't have the connections to sort of say, oh yeah, but I've done that, but my dad was a DOP, or but my uncle produced films or worked for the BBC. I didn't have nothing.
Media is pretty hard to get into.
Yeah,
really hard.
But if you keep going at it, and every step of the way, I'm surrounding myself around good people. My director of theatre, Adam Morley, Jonathan Carr. I've always worked with good people that you've got to be around, and you'll help elevate each other together. And that's what's lovely with Future, because we really do that. We really do bring people in, work with them, and try and create that family feel, because it is a cutthroat industry as well.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's far worse than the old one that we used to work in, because yeah, it's far you know, you're better off robbing banks or importing narcotics.
Michael, it's not too late, mate. I feel like you've got a part of you
Yeah,
wants to do it.
What am I doing? What am I doing? But no, honestly, it's far more cutthroat a business, the film industry, than it is.
Yeah.
But if you work with the right people and that, it is brilliant. So I hope
Mm.
people do sort of, you know, if anyone's listening to this, anyone's
Yeah.
watching this, thinks, oh, if he can do it, because it's true. What, you know, why not?
I feel like
Um,
from this conversation, like, you know, just it's all positive. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, you've had to work hard. You know, you didn't necessarily know from day one that you'd end up from here. You've had to, you know, change the course a little bit on this journey. You know, from being a boxer, stage actor, musical, then screenwriter, then actor, then back to screenwriting as well, mixing it, and then, you know, being involved in more screenwriting. But if someone, because you said earlier that you didn't necessarily go to school specifically for screenwriting and, you know, writing dialogue and stuff like that,
I, I
I
think
would
I
ask
think
them.
I
Oh, you
stopped.
did? What was
I
that?
think I stopped. I was hardly ever there.
Sorry. If you had to give advice then for someone that sort of had to learn the hard way and learn themselves, this skill and ability to write, you know, for plays and films, what would you advise if you can?
Right. So stick to what you know.
Hmm.
Stick to stories that you know. Stick to characters that you know. Stick to people that you know. Because I think audiences aren't stupid. If it isn't genuine and it doesn't come from a real place, they're gonna suss you out.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that's, like I said with the last heist,
Hmm.
Mr. Kiss, it's an outrageous comedy. It's a really silly film. But it does come from an element of truth, and there is that feel to the characters are still genuine. So stick to what you know, and always write. This is gonna say, write your story, write your truth.
Hmm.
Uh, it isn't about, you know. I'm even with the stories like the football, the war play that I'm doing, the war film, Great Again. I've never fought in the war.
Yeah.
I've never been in them circumstances. I've never been a war hero. I can't imagine what they went through. But I have lost someone close to me. I have been in situations where I have feared for certain circumstances, feared for my life and things like that.
Yeah.
So if you can harness that and bring that to the dialogue, then I don't think you'll go too far wrong. Then the other two things, have yourself around good people. You
Yeah.
know, make sure you're working with the right directors, the right creatives, the right actors, and you've got to trust them. You know, when Ray said half your script's crap, I didn't, I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't stick to that. I heard half of it's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a bit of crap we improve on. You
Yeah.
know, when he with that performance, don't ever do that again. I just thought, well, he didn't tell me that yesterday, so yesterday must have been all
Exactly.
right.
You're learning
You've
from
got,
it, be like, okay, what that works, let me enhance that, as
yeah,
opposed to let me enhance what I'm doing right now. Let's not do that.
and even learning. You know, I said that with Dan. So obviously he was in the last heist, and we was both nervous, especially because it's so dialogue heavy, such a short
Yeah.
space. When Terry was there, Terry's brilliant, and Sam Gittins is a touch of class. So also we're like, okay, well we'll watch you two, we'll learn from you two.
Hmm.
Um, and
Oh,
then
he's the young
Danny,
lad, wasn't he?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
brilliant.
he was
Yeah.
good. I
So,
really liked him.
and then in the next one, Dan's performance is even better in Mr. Kiss.
Really?
Far better. Yeah, he's great in Last Ice. Mr. Kiss is a different level. But again, he's opposite. You know, he's on scene with he's on set with John Hannah, who is a Hollywood legend. You know, I think he's been nominated for Oscars, or certainly his films have. So when you're opposite someone like that, you
Hmm.
learn from you know you wrap yourself, and also the backstage crew, you know, the ads, the DOPs, the people that no one takes no notice of.
Hmm. Like the
A lot
costume
of
designers
people,
and like, you know,
yeah,
people have to like find these locations and
yeah, and a
so
lot of
much
people
into it.
have no time and respect for that. You've got to. So
Yeah.
that's the other, wrap yourself around good people. And then the final piece of advice is twofold, and it contradicts itself, because one is don't listen to no one,
Hmm.
because opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one. And
I
if
always
you
felt that
listen,
saying.
yeah, it's so true. And everyone will shoot you down.
Yeah.
Last night, it's no good. Well, that won't be a script. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And people always say to me, "Oh, will you read my script?" And I say, "No, I won't," because I'm gonna see it how I would write it, and how I
Yeah.
would write. You would write it. And whenever you give a script to another creative, they always shoot it down because it's ego.
Yeah.
I write the world, so your script ain't as good as mine. Why? Because I didn't write it, and you do get that an awful lot. I remember Worth of Flutter, like I said, he got a West End transfer, got multiple awards, and one of the feedback from one of the theatres was, "No, it's offensive." I went, "Who to?" They went, "Just people in general." Okay, all right. And so the people will shout you down. So one is stick to your guns.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to no one because people will shout you down. People will want to knock you. People will want, no, they will want to get their knives out. Either out of jealousy or out of their own insecurity. Dapper's had this. Dan's had this a lot, you know. Oh, I'm insecure in my life, so I'll pick on Dan. Oh, I'm insecure in my life, so I'll say that acting performance.
He went through a lot of shit. Like when he got cancelled and stuff. And I thought it was a bit outrageous myself. I enjoyed his content back in the day, and meeting him, he was actually really, really friendly, really nice. And but for him to come back, it's awesome. He's so matured.
So that would be my final piece of advice: is don't listen to no one. Then my final piece of advice is listen to people. So you've got, I've had stuff where you get critiques, you get reviews, you get people come back with your script and go, "I'll put it on if you do this, this, and this," or I'll give you X amount of money if you do this, this, and this. And you've got to be humble enough to listen to opinions and humble enough to adapt and change, like I did with Ray.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got to stick to your guns and have a bit of belief in yourself, because if you don't believe in your script, if you don't believe in your performance, if you don't believe in what you're doing, then why is anyone else? Because it is a competitive, it's a bit like with a footballer. If you don't believe you're good enough to make the first team, why is the manager going to pick you? It's the same principle. So that's what I would say. And listen, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I mean, like I said, that gift, if you watch it, I made it for £7,000.
I'm definitely proud of
that. I made it for £7,000.
Yeah.
I put the team together myself. We filmed it in 8 days, 9 days. It has got.
While you're there, I'm gonna check if it's still on Amazon.
Yeah, it's still on there.
It is on there. Lovely. That's
you can rent it for 99p or buy it for £2. And look, it's badly edited. The editing ain't great. There's mistakes in it. There's bits where you can see the lights. So yeah, it's a far, far, far from flawless film. But if you never make the mistakes, how are you going to learn from them?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think some of the best parts of this journey that we're all on is fucking up and learning from it. But yeah, no one's perfect. No one wants to succeed in everything straight away. It's not fun.
No, like with the Last Heist, are there things that I'll change it? Of course there is. My performance, am I happy with it? No, of course I ain't. I'll watch it now.
Are you your own biggest critic, would you say?
Yeah. I'm terrible. I don't rate my performance in it at all. Because I only focus on the negatives. But then that's how you get better.
But I do hope the feedback that you did get, not just for myself, but others, did kind of sway you and convince you otherwise that you were really good.
No, thank you for saying that. And yeah, like I said, I've been overwhelmed with the feedback. It's been amazing. And yeah, you've got to believe in yourself enough to be. You've got to believe in yourself to put yourself out there, and believe in yourself not to be shot down. Because if not, you'd be a nervous wreck. But at the same time, you've also got to be humble enough to go, okay, all right, well, next time I did that there, where my pace actually in Last Ice is a little bit draggy at points. Hopefully next time I'll learn from that, Yeah. And they're that's the whole thing. And it is a hard industry. And that's why I've always made theatre and scripts, and everything I've done has always been for working class people. Because that's what I know. That's where I come from. And there's no point trying to do something that I'm not, and there's no point trying to create something that I'm not. And then if you stick true to that, hopefully you won't go too far wrong. So that would be my sort of. And listen,
that'll be the knowledge that you would pass on to someone that is breaking into the industry, or generally having thinking about it, like contemplating the idea of, okay, this is what I could do, but listening for someone that has gone through this path, but sort of learned from mistakes as well. But I think, you know,
Yeah.
anyone that has listened to it, like, mate, I hope you did make a note of that with pen and pad. You can also listen back to this and like this audio as well. But, you know, I think even myself, I did media in school and I did it for university. I did quite well actually university, but kind of just felt in love with it. Just found it difficult, but that's why my job as well is actually pretty good, but I get to do the podcasting as well, and you know, to have this conversation with you, someone that sort of saw on the big screen, absolutely adored the performance and the film itself, and just to have this conversation we had for the last hour, it's been an absolute blast and a real pleasure, because I know you're a family man, and I think you can imagine you've got things to do as well, but for you to take the time and to chat to me as well, that means a lot as well.
No, listen, firstly, I'm absolutely honoured you asked. Really honoured you asked. Thank you. And secondly, a bit like I was just saying about with the talking to yourself, you can see you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And it's lovely chatting to you, because that enthusiasm and that, it does rub off. It's nice. It really is lovely.
Yeah.
And you know, and to hear that you enjoyed the film and things like that, it is brilliant. It is lovely to hear, and I'm really grateful and appreciate it. And again, you can see, like you said, with the media and all that, you love doing what you do.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to you know, for me today to be a small part of that. What you're doing is brilliant. So no, I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that, Michael. As I will officially wrap up this chat, it's been a fucking quality conversation. Football, production, media, screenwriting, family, gangsters, and your journey, what you could be doing as well. What's that?
Not gangsters, alternative businessmen.
Alternative businessmen, that's it.
That's what we.
If I don't see you in the newspaper becoming a robber in the next 5 years, I'll be very disappointed. No, I'm joking. Bank robber. Sorry.
Not too hard nowadays, mate. Too hard.
In that game, age is just a number.
Bank robbers nowadays, it's all done through the internet.
I'm like the fucking devil on your shoulders, like, go rob bank, be right back.
It's too, like I said, nowadays it's all computer codes and all that.
Mate, you'll get caught.
I just about got on the Zoom call, like, I'm going to hack someone's account.
He's not actually lying. Michael's not actually lying. Michael, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Thank you very much. Hopefully, in one of your upcoming films in the future, I can have a cameo or an extra role.
Listen. When Mr. Kiss is out proper, we'll have down at the premiere. 100%. Please come down. And then when we're set for the next one, which I think will be House. But when we're on set, mate, please come down. It'd be lovely to have you on set, and be an absolute honour to have you be involved, mate.
Thank you, mate. That'll be honestly, I will 100% take the offer, and it'll be great to see you again. I've got my selfie with you at the premiere. You couldn't be any nicer. I've met you twice now, and you're always nice, very friendly, very approachable. Getting you to do this interview with me was just a piece of cake, because of just how nice you are. So thank you, and
thank you. I appreciate. Listen, I may not be the greatest writer, I may not be the best actor, but hopefully I'm not an arsehole.
Nah, you're a good human being, mate. Michael, where can the listeners find you on social media? That is the official last question.
So, Instagram, innit? It's Michael Head Actor or Michael Head Act. One of them. I'm useless with these. It's a picture of me looking moody, I think. Yeah. And also look up Fugitive Film Productions.
Fugitive Films as well.
That's my company that we're making. We got Mr. Kiss coming out, and like I said, next year I think it's going to be a very, very big one for Fugitive. So I'm very excited about it.
Very smashed this year. 2023 is going to be even bigger. Mr. Kiss is going to do well. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Follow Michael on his personal Instagram. Please follow Fugitive Films Production. I will find the details and I'll put them in the description below so you can follow them. Also, follow me on my social media handles so you can keep up to date with what I'm doing and who I'll have on next year, because this is most likely my last interview. But what a way to go out by interviewing a fantastic actor and a great human being. Michael, thank you. At the time of the recording, France and Morocco have yet to play. So come on, Morocco, and please knock out France for cheating against us. So F the ref, but sorry, I had to squeeze that in. But for now, everyone, I hope you all have a great Christmas. Michael, I hope you and your family have a great Christmas. And everyone, take care. Hello there. I've got a special announcement from my next guest, and this is definitely not a retake.
This is KC Payne, and you're listening to What Do You Call It podcast.
You heard.